Charlamagne the Devil and your auntie Roro go at it. My two non-favorite nigga crats having a war with each other. Let's talk about it. This is beautiful in the making. Like, taking a pause from all the right-wing neocons versus so-called non-interventionists and getting into some Democrat bullshit. So basically, Charlamagne gave Roland Martin Dunk of the Day because Roland Martin was on his panel accusing the Breakfast Club of purposely putting out disinformation over the shutdown and whatnot. Y'all saw the thing. Y'all already seen what happened. But this is the funny thing. I've been saying for a while that when Charlamagne defended Joe Budden against Native Land Pod, Charlamagne was not defending Joe Budden. Charlamagne was defending himself. What I mean by that is if Tiffany Cross and not Angela Rye, because Angela Rye, like Joe Budden said, is a Charlamagne. She's in that crowd. She be standing 10 toes deep for him. That's her boy. Even when he got accused of touching that girl, she was there by his side, ride or die. But Andrew Gillum and the others on the show, right? So, but he wasn't defending just himself, because if she feels that way, Tiffany, about Charlamagne, then she would have to feel that way about Joe Budden's podcast, which is not a political podcast, doesn't really talk about politics at all, or important things like that. They're pop culture, reality TV, hip hop. That's their lane. The Brilliant Idiots does talk about politics, which is Charlamagne's podcast with his host Andrew Schultz, and then Andrew Schultz's podcast Flagrant, which is by proxy, you can't separate them. Different podcasts, but I'm saying they're in the same bubble. Also talk about politics, important things, and have important people on. So it makes no sense for Angela Rye to say that the Joe Budden podcast, because she's the one that titled it that, has something to do with the dumbing down of America, but not talking about Brilliant Idiots and Charlamagne, right? So again, Charlamagne wasn't defending Joe Budden. He was in essence defending himself in that situation. But back to this story with Roland Martin and Charlamagne. So I've always said that Roland Martin, Karen Hunter, and other black so-called journalists, they don't like that the so-called new media, even the lower levels like the Tariq Nasheeds and Black News Network, all that, like they don't like that. They don't have control over the masses anymore. They're not the ones that politicians call to come hang out with them. Absolutely, Roland Martin played it different than Karen Hunter. Karen Hunter just came out straight up, I hate the Breakfast Club, they're trash. Charlamagne is this and that. She even shitted on the Native Land podcast because of its connection with Charlamagne being with his iHeartRadio situation, where Charlamagne goes out and he finds already podcasts for iHeart. Like he goes out there and he just finds podcasts that are already there just to bring them to iHeart to be on the platform. But that's been the problem. The problem is that the so-called bourgeoisie, talentless 10th, Jack and Jill niggas, these boule niggas, these people who had, been the voice and been looked to go to for these certain things, they're not being looked at no more. No one's knocking on Karen Hunter's door. How many times have you heard Roland Martin cry about not getting money because white media or the white staffers don't pick black media outlets or black target audience? I think he even said when they were doing the situation with Hillary, as much as he tap danced for her, literally on stage he tap danced for Hillary, her campaign did not want to spend money on his network to interview him. They wanted to go to Ellen. That's what they said. They said, well, if we want to talk to black women, we'll go to Ellen, a gay white woman. So, of course, these old niggercrats do not like the fact that the Breakfast Club in particular is getting people to come up there and sit up there and talk to them, having important conversations. They don't like it. They've never liked it. Only thing I say about Roland Martin, as much as he will call out stuff he sees on there, and he'll say it no matter what. Like he sees Stephen A. say something he don't like, he'll call him out. This is the crazy thing. All these Negroes got each other numbers and text each other, but yet they rather, just like the messy people, go get the clicks and the likes. Karen Hunter does it too. She had her whole panel up there shitting on Stephen A. Smith, even though she knows him personally. He views her as a sister. When his sister died, she was the one that was there for him. When he learned how to do journalism and how to write, she was the one that taught him, according to him. So, but instead of calling him, pull him to the side, she had an episode, and she let her co-host, including Bakari Sellout bitch ass, shit on Stephen A. Smith. So it's like weird how these are your colleagues and your peers, kind of, sort of. Like that one definitely is. Like Stephen A. Smith is a journalist. But if you offer any independent thought off the Democrat, let's just say it, plantation mindset, they don't like you. I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith's politics, but I respect his existence in the space, because if he wasn't there, it would just be a bunch of Roland Martins and Travis Smileys and on a D.L. Hughley's. Like, it would just be them niggas if we didn't have. So I think Killer Mike is a necessary evil. I think, and I'm saying that because when it comes to guns and stuff like that, I agree with Killer Mike and capitalism and all that. But some other shit he just be saying I just don't agree with. But I'm saying I'm not going to throw him away because of that. But the bigger black establishment and even some of the regular niggas, they have thrown Killer Mike away because he was sitting down with the NRA, because he has a pro-capitalist mindset. They want to throw black people like that away. So the Ice Cubes, Charlamagne's, I'm doing a different video on it. I'll probably do segments on it, because the biggest threat to the Democrat Party from black voters is not black conservatives, right? That's just not a thing. As FD Signifier says, we're insignificant and we don't matter. But the biggest threat, I think, to the Democrat Party is not black conservatives, but black independents. And if more black men, which I think they are, were to express that and move like that and vote differently based on where they live at and what their specific issues are, that will really crush the Democratic Party. Y'all think that it's bad now when Obama comes out and he chastises black men? Y'all think it's bad now when Tiffany Cross does her little rant about black men who might have voted a different way? What if black men really, on some real shit, was independent? Like, they might vote locally Democrat, but might, federally vote for Republican, and have valid reasons why they would do that. Like, that would really crush the Democratic Party. That's the biggest threat. If you recall, a long time ago, Angela Rye, Charlamagne even said on the Breakfast Club, like, maybe 6 years ago, longer than that, like 7 years ago. He was like, I'm an independent, but I only vote because in New York, if you're not registered with the party you're registered with, you can't vote in their primaries. So he says, I only register as a Democrat because in New York, I can't register as an independent and still vote in the primaries. I take myself out of that fight. So this is the only reason why I'm registered this way. And in mid-sentence, Angela Wright cuts him off and tells him, no, you're not. That's more to do with Nina Turner said about the Democratic Party emasculating black men. But anyways, this situation was hilarious. He roasted Roland Martin. And I was like, Roland Martin, this is the same. Roland Martin, unlike Karen Hunter, who just shut you out and shit on you, he'll still shit on you and call you out, but he'll still come on your show, because Roland Martin, to me, is a little bit smarter, because he knows he can grow his audience by going on the Breakfast Club. So he played a different game where I'm going to go up there and then call you out or say what I disagree with what you said. Whereas Karen Hunter, who, those are two peas in the pot on different fucking sides of the bird, she's like, no, it's trash, it's garbage. She even had Abby Phillips on her show recently where she's been shitting on her show. Shitting on, why do you have Scott Jennings up there? Why do you have this back and forth, both sides, giving two sides of the opinion? I don't like that. I don't like the corporate media. Because she used to be that. She used to be on MSNBC. She was the angry black woman with the face. Before Angela Rye, she was doing the same shit, yet she claims she's against that now. But again, she's on talk radio. She's on Sirius. People have to pay to hear what she has to say. And apparently, it's hidden. Like, a lot of people don't even know she is. She shitted on podcasts for the longest, and guess what she got now? She already had a radio show, which she does on YouTube. It's not the whole show, but some of it. Then that wasn't enough. So now she does an actual separate podcast, even though she's been shitting on podcasters for a while, right? Roland Martin is on YouTube like everybody else, thinking he something not but a YouTuber. That's what's funny, because Charlamagne threw the shade and said, you do what you did for clicks and likes over the situation. Now, the calling Charlamagne out, what do I think about that? I think it's semantics. Like, Democrats have no power, right? It was the Democrats keep telling us. And the ACA is already going up regardless of what happens, because it's already in the big, beautiful bill, all right? So Democrats are holding out and fighting because they have no leverage if they give it up. But they're not getting anything. They're not going to get anything. So it's like, basically, without saying it, we're stopping people from getting their food stamps and their whatever, not food stamps, but the SNAP and all this other stuff, and the federal workers, because we want to prove a point that we're not going to prove. So it's like, yeah, it was a good show. It was grandstanding. It was a good performance. but at the expense of people. And when I think, I don't agree with Charlamagne on politics at all. This nigga is dumb when it comes to some stuff. Like, I don't disagree totally with everybody who comes against him, especially with the Second Amendment and guns. He's like retarded. He had someone literally tell him banning certain guns are stupid because it's cosmetic, and he just didn't understand. He had an actual smart person, to my surprise, come tell him that to his face, and yet he still repeats the same dumb rhetoric about gun control, while claiming he's pro-gun, but he wants to ban specific guns. That's not how that works. But I'm saying, at least Charlamagne talks to people on the radio. So he gets, and he's nationally syndicated, so it's not just New Yorkers he's talking to. And he's talking to everybody across the state and the regular people, where I think the Roland Martins, the Karen Hunters, they don't talk to the regular people. If you listen to them, they're constantly calling people dumb, literally. Like, even these young shea butter niggas, like when they look at the Flip versus Mark Lamont Hill, even though Mark Lamont Hill was the aggressor, even though Mark Lamont Hill lost his cool, even though Mark Lamont Hill was triggered by being called, whatever he called him, sucker shit, which was some sucker shit. Mark Lamont Hill does take shots. He does, and I went back and watched like a compilation of just jokes and them fucking around. Mark been calling them niggas dumb for the whole year he been there. Like, he's been doing that. It's like, but now it was an intellectual debate and all this other stuff, which had nothing to do with that. But I'm saying, these people, like Roland Martin, Karen Hunter, and there's more others, but those are the big ones, even though a lot of y'all don't know who Karen Hunter is, because again, she's behind the paywall. She's on Sirius XM. Unless you follow her YouTube channel, you don't know who she is. But she's in the same boat. She doesn't get this. She's just like Roland, but she plays the game a little bit differently. I wish I recorded the video because I don't feel like going back and look at it. But there was a one clip where she said, even though she threw shade and shots at Roland Martin's host and his guests because they're a bunch of rejects, she goes, "Oh, don't listen to nobody else. Just listen to me." Oh, okay, you can listen to Roland Martin too, right? She did say that, and that was hilarious. That out of all the people, out of all the independent journalists, and all the people who call things down the middle, bars and stripes, she says, "Go listen to Roland, who is clearly sold out to the Democratic Party." Karen Hunter's one of these people who plays this game of it's not Democrat, Republican, it's about humanity, all this bullshit. When she just tapped in for the Democratic Party the same way. That's all. Every now and then she might call out something. I think she did call out Jasmine Crockett for her ghetto action behavior, saying like, yo, you gotta chill. She didn't go hard, but she did say something. I took a little flack for it, I guess, but by and large, Trump derangement syndrome, all Republicans are racist, white people, same typical nigga crap shit. But she's in the same boat. But that's just my video. This shit was hilarious though, seeing them go back and forth. I guess Roland Martin responded again, went through some long diatribe about being 100% honest and all that stuff. He addressed that, but he didn't address the fact that Charlamagne said, yo, you be sneak dissing, you be going behind my back. Why the hell would you mention that BET was gonna give a show to somebody and they voted him as the #1 person they wanted to see, but then you mentioned Charlamagne. But don't mention none of the other people. That was shade. He has been throwing shots over the years, even though he still goes up there. But again, unlike Karen Hunter, he's smart enough to go up there and utilize that platform to grow his platform. You could tell when Roland Martin, and that's the thing too, when Roland Martin's on somewhere else, his followers follow him. Them old Negro churchgoers, them wannabe bourgeoisie niggas, they follow him where he go, because you could tell in the Breakfast Club comments when he's up there, they follow his ass. So I don't know if that's who's commenting on the group, because everybody's mainly saying no, Charlamagne was wrong. I don't think Charlamagne was really, I don't think it's a right or wrong answer. At the end of the day, Democrats were trying to pay tough at the expense of not just the Affordable Care Act, but they have no power, as y'all keep telling them. So no one's going to cave, no one's going to negotiate nothing. They don't have to do it. You can't play possum and call bluff. And then the fact that many Democrats admitted, Bernie Sanders included, this is all the leverage we got. If we don't hold fast with this, then we're not gonna get nothing. But you ain't gonna get nothing anyways. So what do you want to do? The Obamacare is trash. Like, it's funny how everybody's pointing out how the premiums going up, but in its inception, it made premiums go up from, I remember that day, a company just bought a company I worked at, so it was new leadership. Now, it's not all on the insurance company's fault, but what they were going to contribute was different than the previous company. But literally, because of Obamacare and the new company, it wasn't just all Obamacare's fault, but the premiums went up. Like, a plan that was like the gold standard plan, that was the good one, that's like $500, $600 now, that was like 60, 70 bucks a week. That shit jumped to whatever. Y'all talking about, oh, kids can stay on their parents' plan? Parents were kicking their kids off the plan because they couldn't afford it for the family anymore. They were telling their 19, 20-year-old kid, like, no, you gotta go get your own shit. You gotta go get some Medicaid or Medicaid. You gotta go get that because I can't afford to pay $500 for this platinum plan that I used to have that used to only be less than $100. So I'm saying it's weird how we're all pointing out that it's been going up precipitously since its inception. Like, this ain't new. It's always going up. It's a failed plan, a failed system. But that's just my video. I think in that sense, Charlamagne is right. The fact that the people are calling and suffering and complaining and telling him every day, where Roland Martin admits don't care about any of that. He don't care about the SNAP benefits. He don't care about people not getting paid. He wants this fake thing to say we got the Republicans and we did this. It is what it is. What do y'all think about this whole situation? Charlamagne and Roland Martin finally go at it. Again, Roland Martin has definitely been taking shots over the years, even though he still go up there and sit on the Breakfast Club. But yes, this is another example of how old black media, so-called bourgeoisie niggas, talented niggas, Jack and Jill niggas, they don't like the fact that regular people that aren't learned, they don't have the credentials that they have the voice of the people. They don't like that people are going to podcasters and radio hosts to talk about important things. They feel some type of way about it. Even if they agree with the people, they still don't like it. All right, I'm out.